Hello students, myself Anna Sahib Gorane from RBNB College Srirampur. From 12th Science chapter Dual Nature of Radiation and Matter, in last 4 lectures we have studied about photoelectric effect, the experiment on photoelectric effect, its observations and Einstein's explanation on the observations of photoelectric effect. We have also studied about the dual nature of radiation, that is light. It behaves as wave as well as particle. Now today we study the de Broglie hypothesis. According to scientist de Broglie, there exists symmetry in nature. According to scientist de Broglie, there exists symmetry in nature. If radiation has dual nature or light has dual nature, matter also possesses dual nature. Matter also possesses the dual nature. If radiation has dual nature, matter also possesses dual nature, and matter is made up of particles. Matter is made up of particles, or it is composed of particles. In some situations, matter shows wave-like properties. It shows wave-like properties. Matter is made up of particles, but in some situation, it shows wave-like properties. For example, diffraction of electron from nickel crystal. From nickel crystal shows that matter behaves like, or it behaves like the waves. The scientist de Broglie used property frequency. He used the property frequency and wavelength of wave. These are the properties related with the wave nature, and proposed the relation to connect these properties with particle nature properties like momentum. He used the frequency and wavelength. These are wave properties, and they are connected with, or there is some relation with, particle properties, for example momentum. And this is the de Broglie hypothesis. That is, matter also exhibits a dual nature like the wave. Now we see some assumptions of, or some concepts of this de Broglie hypothesis. According to de Broglie, main concept is matter behaves as a dual nature. Moving material particles of total energy E, moving particle, that is material particle having energy E is the energy, and P is the momentum, and we know this momentum is mass into velocity. Momentum is a product of mass and velocity. According to de Broglie, the moving particles of total energy E and momentum P has wave associated with it analogous to photon. These moving particles are associated with a wave, and that wave is analogous to photon, and the momentum P of photon moving with velocity v, this is the velocity, and if it carries the energy E, the moving particles have energy and momentum associated with it analogous to photon, and if we consider a photon having momentum P and energy is E, then that momentum P is E upon C. Momentum of the photon is E upon C. E is the energy of the photon, C is the velocity of light. But as we know, this E is h nu. H is Planck's constant and nu is frequency. H nu upon C. But nu upon C is lambda. So we write momentum of the photon is h upon lambda. Momentum P of the photon is h upon lambda. Suppose this is equation 1. Thus frequency and wavelength of wave associated with material particle of mass m moving with velocity v. We apply this concept for material particle. Now this equation is for photon. E upon C. C is the velocity of that light, h nu upon C, h upon lambda. We apply this concept for a material particle of mass m and velocity v. Here momentum will be mv, and here frequency nu will be E upon h. See this equation, this C get cancelled and this nu will be E upon h. E upon h, that is the Planck's constant, and lambda is P equal to h upon lambda. Therefore lambda is h upon P. For the material particles, this lambda is h upon P, but as P is equal to mv, we write this as h upon m into v. So we apply this concept for the material particle having mass m and moving with the velocity v. De Broglie called these waves associated with material particles as matter waves. This is main part. De Broglie called the waves associated with the material particles of mass m moving with velocity v as the matter waves. The wavelength of these matter waves is given by this equation, that is lambda is equal to h upon mv, and this equation 2 is called as a de Broglie relation. This equation is de Broglie relation, and this wavelength is a de Broglie wavelength. Now from this equation, if greater the momentum is there, if this momentum is greater, as there is an inverse relation between wavelength and momentum, if this momentum is greater, a wavelength will be short. Greater the momentum, shorter is the wavelength. It is clear that. Now we see a de Broglie wavelength of the electron. De Broglie wavelength of the electron. Electron is also considered as a material particle. De Broglie wavelength of electron. And how wave is associated with the electron. As for every particle of matter has both particle as well as wave nature. Properties associated with it. For every material particle of the matter, it possesses wave as well as particle nature. For particle of mass m moving with velocity v, m is mass of particle, if it moves with velocity v, its kinetic energy is, we denote it as Ek, and that kinetic energy we know it is 1/2 mv square. Therefore, this v square is twice Ek upon m. Taking square root, we get that velocity as square root of twice kinetic energy upon mass, twice Ek upon mass. But we know lambda is H upon P. Lambda is H upon P, and that is H upon mv. Therefore, this lambda is H upon m into V, but V is this, so this is under root of m upon twice Ek. H upon m into m upon twice Ek. So this is lambda H upon square root of, lambda is H upon square root of twice m into Ek. If this goes to in the square root, m square, so that cancels with m, twice m into kinetic energy. We get the value for lambda as H upon under root of twice m into kinetic energy. Suppose we call this as equation 1. This is for the material particle of mass m moving with the velocity v, kinetic energy. Then we find the velocity, and by de Broglie relation we know lambda is H upon P. P is mv, and by solving we get lambda as H upon twice square root of twice m into Ek. Now if we apply this concept for the charged particle, if we apply the concept for charged particle of charge q, and if it is accelerated from rest, that charged particle is accelerated from rest through the potential difference V. Capital V. We apply this concept for the charged particle which is moving. Charge of that particle is Q. It is accelerated from rest through the potential difference V. Then work done is, here work done is that charge multiplied by potential V, and this provides the kinetic energy. So here this work done is kinetic energy. We denote it as Ek, and that is Q into V, that is charge into potential. So this Ek is Q into V. So our equation 1 becomes lambda is equal to, for the charged particle this equation becomes H upon under root of twice m into Ek is Q into V. Ek is Q into V. This is equation 2. What is this? This m is mass of the charged particle. And this equation is not only hold good for the electron. Electron is charged particle. We know charge on the electron is negative. But it holds good for any charged particle like electron, proton, or even charged ions. And this m is a mass of that charged particle. Lambda is equal to H upon twice m into QV. For electron, we write the equation, especially for the electron, of charge E. If charge of the electron is E, and if we denote its mass as me, that is the mass of the electron, this equation becomes lambda is equal to H upon under root of twice, instead of m we write the mass of electron as me, charge of electron as E into V, where this H is Planck's constant. H is Planck's constant. Its value is 6.63 into 10 raised to minus 34 joule second. Mass of the electron is constant value 9.1 into 10 raised to minus 31 kg, and magnitude of charge on electron, actually charge on electron is negative, but its magnitude is 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. If we substitute all these values here, we get this lambda as 6.63 into 10 raised to minus 34 divided by square root of twice me, that is 9.1 into 10 raised to minus 31 into charge on electron, that is 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 into potential difference V, and this potential difference is in volt. This H, me, E, these are the constant quantities. By solving this, we get the wavelength of that electron accelerated through the potential difference of V volt as lambda is equal to 1.228 into 10 raised to minus 9 divided by under root of V in meter. This is the wavelength in meter. But 10 raised to minus 9 meter is 1 nanometer. We know this 10 raised to minus 9 meter is 1 nanometer, and we write this as lambda is equal to, that is this wavelength is 1.228 under root of this potential difference V in nanometer. We get the wavelength of the electron here. Now from this wavelength of electron, we write some important points, we call it as a remarks from this wavelength for the charged particle, that may be proton, that may be electron, or that may be charged ions. Our first remark is, we see some important points related with this wavelength of the electron. These are the very important points. For electron at rest, its momentum is 0. For electron at rest, rest means V is 0. So its momentum P is equal to mv, as V is 0, its momentum is 0. Hence lambda is equal to wavelength lambda is H upon P, and as this P is 0, this wavelength is infinite. Wavelength of the electron is infinite. But this is the ideal condition and can be achieved only when electron attains absolute 0 temperature. Wavelength of the electrons is infinite. When it is at rest, V is 0, momentum is 0, and from this formula that wavelength is infinite. But this is the ideal condition and it can be achieved only when electron attains the absolute 0 temperature. The de Broglie wavelength of electron and proton have the same value if it is at rest, and that value is infinite value. This is our first observation or first remark related with that de Broglie wavelength. Then second observation is the wavelength associated with electron of energy few electron volt. Energy of electron, that energy is few eV, and the wavelength associated with the electron having energy few electron volt is of the order of, that wavelength is order of few angstrom unit. Wavelength of the electron is few angstrom unit. To observe the wave nature of electron, hence as the energy of the electron is few electron volt, wavelength of that electron is order of the few angstrom unit, and to observe the wave nature of the electron, therefore to observe the wave nature of the electron, slit width or diffracting objects should be of the same order of magnitude, that is slit width or diffracting objects should be of the same magnitude, that is few angstrom unit, because wavelength is of order of few angstrom unit. Hence, to observe wave nature of electron, the slit width or the diffracting objects should be of the same order of magnitude, that is few angstrom unit. Third main observation is here, wave nature of electron was experimentally verified. It is not only practically verification, it is not only theoretical explanation, but it is experimentally or practically verified by the scientists Davison and Germer. Scientists Davison and Germer performed an experiment, and that experiment performs the wave nature of electron. So this is about the de Broglie hypothesis and some important remarks related with the wavelength of the electron or wavelength of the charged particle. Now we see next one more important concept, that is wave particle duality of matter. Matter means material particles. We already know dual nature of radiation, that is the wave particle duality of electromagnetic radiation or electromagnetic wave or light. Similarly, we see here a wave particle duality of matter. Now in this concept, material particles shows wave-like nature. Material particles, it shows wave-like nature in some situations, that is it behaves as a wave. It shows wave-like nature under certain circumstances or under certain situation, and this phenomenon is called as wave particle duality of matter. This is nothing but wave particle duality, that is both types of nature. Material particles behaves like wave-like nature in certain circumstances. As it is a matter, it is made up of particles, and as it shows wave particle duality, hence this is called as, it behaves as a wave-like nature. It is, this phenomenon is wave particle duality of matter. Now frequency omega, this is the angular frequency, and wave number k, frequency, angular frequency omega and wave number k are used to describe waves. These are used to describe the waves in classical theory. These two parameters, that is wave frequency omega, angular frequency, and wave number k, they are used to describe the wave in classical theories. While mass m and momentum p, see the concept, mass m and momentum p. Momentum, we know it is the product of mass and velocity, are used to describe the particles. They are used to describe the particles. Very interesting. Frequency and wave, they are used to describe the wave in classical theory. Mass m and momentum p are used to describe the particles. So wave particle duality implies that, according to wave particle duality, it implies that all moving particles have an associated frequency. All moving particles have associated frequency and wave number. Associated frequency omega and wave number k. Wave particle duality implies that all the moving particles have an associated frequency and wave number k, and all waves have associated energy and associated momentum. All waves have associated energy and momentum. Associated energy and associated momentum. See here, waves associated with energy and momentum, this is related with the particle nature, but these waves are associated with these. Then all moving particles has associated with frequency particles associated with this wave phenomenon, that is frequency and wave number k. For wave particle duality, we consider, next our point is, for wave particle duality, for wave particle duality, we consider microscopic, that is very small. We consider microscopic objects or bodies. Microscopic objects. Now these microscopic objects having size less than or equal to 10 raised to minus 6 meter. We call such objects as microscopic objects, and their wavelength is measurable. For wave particles duality, we generally consider the microscopic objects, that is very small objects whose size is less than or equal to 10 raised to minus 6 meter, and if size of the objects is like this, the wavelength is measurable. That is, we can measure the wavelengths or it is measurable. Wavelength is measurable. This is for the microscopic objects, but we consider the macroscopic objects. That is large objects, size is large. For example, a person is moving with a velocity. Size of that person is large. If we consider the macroscopic objects, that is objects whose size is large, de Broglie wavelengths are negligible. If we find the de Broglie wavelengths for these objects, they are very small and these wavelengths are negligible for the macroscopic objects as compared to size of object. Very small wavelength for the macroscopic objects. For the microscopic objects having size less than 10 raised to minus 6 meter, the wavelengths are measurable. But for the macroscopic objects, de Broglie wavelengths are negligible as compared to size of object. Therefore, wavelength associated with macroscopic particles do not play the significant role in our everyday life. The wavelength related with these macroscopic particles do not play the significant role in our everyday life. Also, main concept is wavelengths of macroscopic particles are so small they cannot be measured. wavelengths are so small cannot be measured. So this wave particle duality we generally consider for the very small objects having the size 10 raised to minus less than or equal to 10 raised to minus 6 meter. The wave particle duality, hence the wave particle duality cannot be realized in macroscopic particles. It cannot be realized in macroscopic particles because for macroscopic objects de Broglie wavelengths are negligible as compared to the size of object. Wavelengths are so small that we cannot be measured, and they do not play the significant role in our everyday life as the lambda associated with macroscopic particles is very small. So this is about the wave particle duality of matter. We stop here. Thank you.